Good morning, everybody. How are you? So good to see everybody. Give me just a second. I just realized I didn't enable my chats. There we go. So now we should be able to see the chats coming up on the screen. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. If you gave me a chat previously in YouTube or Instagram, I'm sorry. Go ahead and do it again because I'm not going to see it on my software. I didn't hit the last button. There's so many buttons I have to press to get ready for this stream. But so I apologize if I missed one of your messages. But happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. Hope that you and your family are well in your part of the world. I get viewers from all over the world, so it's nice. I always want to make sure that you're doing well because there's always a lot of things going on in the world and whatnot. I got a little bit of a later start today. I slept a little more than I usually do. I had a really weird night of sleep. You know, woke up, back to sleep, woke up, back to sleep. But I finally woke up at 7 a.m. and started getting ready for this. So really happy to be spending all this time with you today. So I'm seeing a lot of new names in the chat, which is great. Thank you so much. And I'm also grateful for my regular viewers. You know, there's some of you who have been with me for a very long time now. So I really appreciate the longtime viewers. On Instagram, I'm adding about 100 people a day. On YouTube, I'm adding about 1,000 people a day, so lots of new faces. So lots of opportunities for us to meet new people and also to reintroduce people to how we do things on this chat, because I do like to structure my live streams in a particular way. So I always ask people to please introduce themselves with their city, state, province, country. It's a little bit of a way for us to build fellowship and community, but also, as I've stressed before, it's important for how you carry yourself as a scientist, how you present yourself in a professional way. And that's another reason why I ask people to do that. So that's our global roll call. And then once we finish, while the global roll call is going on and while you guys are filling up my chats, I like to give an opening note just to give you some general thoughts on data science. And then, you know, maybe if you want to comment on the opening note or you have other questions, I take questions after that. So that's really kind of how I like to run things. So please, if you're new or if you're just joining us, please let me know your city, state, province, and country. And, you know, we'll go from there. And then if you have questions, you know, about your career, education, you know, different problems you're facing in data science, I'm here to listen, and if I can help you, I can. And if I can't, I'll tell you that too. You know, that's what we do here. So go ahead, start filling out my chat. Let me know where you're from. Let me know your questions. For today's opening note, I wanted to talk to you about enabling your stakeholders with data science. One of my favorite things to do when I'm working, you know, in a large organization and I have a variety of stakeholders, one of my most favorite things to do is to work one-on-one with some business stakeholders that have different questions or different things that they want to learn about data science. You know, nowadays, so many people are interested in data science and they want to know more about it and they hear different things. So you're going to get approached by a lot of different people. You know, when you're the official data science team within your division or within your organization, people are going to come to you with all kinds of ideas and questions, curiosities, things along those lines. And I love sitting down with them one-on-one and talking to them and saying, okay, well, what do you think data science is? Or what is the problem that you're looking at? And then from there, you know, you can usually lead into a conversation where you're enabling them to be able to do their own studies and their own little experimentations on their data, right? And that's really kind of what I found it fun, because it's a lot more instructional at that point, right? Like I've taught a lot of people how to do regression analysis in Excel because one, Excel can do that nowadays, right? Excel is kind of, you know, advanced in that regard. But two, it's really more about enabling them with data, you know, that, and I really enjoyed that part of it. There's a lot of benefit to enabling your stakeholders and letting them know how to help themselves. You know, not only is it fun, but in some respect, it's also practical, because you as a data scientist or even as a whole team, you can only take on so many projects in a year. You're gonna probably say no to more projects than you realize right now, right? You probably don't envision yourself doing that so much going into a big corporate environment, but you're going to be turning down a lot of people throughout the course of a year. Doesn't mean they have bad ideas. It's just that the ideas may not have a great return on investment, or the ideas may not have, the interest that your team wants to follow, or some sort of large scale application. So, there's going to be a lot of benefit to being able to say, hey, that's not a full scale project, but I can show you how to do a couple things here, kind of get you started on that road, right? Get some of your initial questions answered. And hey, if that turns into something bigger, feel free to come back to us and maybe we can help you on a larger scale, right? But I wanted to kind of, put that thought in front of all of you, because that's probably not something you realize. It's not something they really teach you in school. But you're going to be doing a lot of work, a lot of one-on-one work with people who are genuinely excited about data science. So you don't want to kill that excitement. You want to encourage that type of excitement, but that ultimately maybe aren't giving you a great data science project. And that's okay. You can still help them. You can still make time to say, hey, I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to show you a couple things, how to do things in Excel, or how to do a couple things in Tableau, or whatever the case may be, and then go from there. You'd be surprised how fun that is. And ultimately it's almost kind of like a community relations thing that you will be doing as a data scientist, not just for yourself, but for your team. So keep that in mind going forward. When you go into the work environment, not everything is this grand, large scale project with multiple GPUs and massive neural networks. Sometimes it's just one-on-one, working with people who are excited about data science that you can help in a small scale way, because maybe they have a small scale project, and that's okay. All right. So I'm seeing my chat fill up. I'm going to go ahead and start looking at some of these messages. Again, if you typed an early message, I might have missed your message, but let me see what's going on. And if you have questions, go ahead and start putting them in the chat after you introduce yourself, please. All right, Rohan, our good friend Rohan. What a tremendous supporter. Rohan is here every day. Thank you so much, Rohan. Rohan, you're just like the other guy, Casual Economist, who made the comment about how, they joined me when they joined me when I wasn't new. I had like 1,000 subscribers, but now they feel like a veteran because there's so many more subscribers since then. But Rohan, thank you so much for your consistent support. I really appreciate you. Rohan says, good morning, Dennis and all. Rohan from Vizag, India. So I hope you're doing well out there in India, my friend. I'm going to start looking up some of these cities because, I know like the general cities of India. I've had staff in India before, but some of these other cities, I got to admit, I don't always know. So I got to start looking these up. Garvit says, hello, Dennis. Hey, Garvit, let us know. Remind me where you're from, Garvit. I know this isn't your first time, but remind me where you're from. Sarath says, hello again from London. Hey, Sarath, nice to see you. Thanks for coming back. Is it Priya? Or is it just Pri? Hello, I'm from Bangalore, India. Nice, welcome. Good to see you. I think this might be your first time, but welcome. Ridicog says hello from Seattle, Washington. Very nice, very nice. We're in the same time zone. I've never been to Seattle, but I hear it's beautiful up there. But thanks for coming, Ridicog. I think it's Riddy is the first name, right? Fatima says hello, sir. Hey, Fatima, how are you? I think you're from Meekness, so welcome, Fatima. Nice to see you back. You've been a consistent regular since you joined. I think you only joined a couple days ago, so thanks for coming back. Abdul says hello from Karachi, Pakistan. Hey, Abdul, nice to see you. How are you? I think this might be your first time. Welcome. Thaplia. Or is it Devashi? I think it might be Devashi is the first name. Devashi, let us know where you're from, okay? Please introduce yourself. Hello, Ayub from Morocco. Ayub, welcome. Is this your first time, Ayub? Maybe. What part of Morocco? Morocco is a big country, right? A big, beautiful country. So you got to let us know where you're from. Rohan says, hi, what is the agenda for this coming Sunday? Rohan, you are asking a very good question. I have no idea. So, for those of you that are wondering, maybe you're new, I have been teaching this book, Introduction to Statistical Learning. If you don't know this book, you should. This is where professional data science begins. I have been teaching this book for the last 8 Sundays. And we finished. We did it, guys. We finished. We went 8 Sundays, all in a row. We did 10 chapters of this book. So I am super proud of all the people that attended, and you should be proud of yourselves too. But now that leaves Sundays open. So Rohan, you're asking a good question. I don't know. I have so many series in my mind, Rohan, that I want to do, that I'm thinking like, maybe that should be during the week chat, or maybe I should, do it on Sundays, or maybe I should take Sundays off and work on my other content. Because remember, that's my teaching content. And then I still have my de-influencing data series content. And I got I literally have a list of 20 ideas I want to do. And I've only filmed 5 of them. I filmed 5 of them. I have scripts for an additional 2, but I still got a long way to go in that. Guys, I cannot tell you how many content ideas I have for you guys coming up. So it's a matter of finding the time and what days I want to do them. So maybe Sundays. You know what? Give me some feedback in the chat, guys. I chose Sundays as my instructional days because it seems like that works for most people. My analytics show that a lot of you are online on Sundays. But give me some feedback in the chat. Maybe I'll change it. Maybe it needs to be Fridays. Maybe it needs to be at night. I don't know. Give me some feedback. But yeah, Rohan, I'm thinking about it. I don't know what the agenda is for coming Sunday. Hopefully it'll be something good. I'd like to think I'd give you guys good content, right? And also for those of you who don't know, one of my rules is that I will never, ever, ever do pre-recorded content. I will not sit here and record content for you guys to watch on YouTube. To me, it's boring for me to do it, and I think it's boring to watch, right? I mean, that stuff puts you to sleep. I'm not going to sit here and show you code. That's stuff people use at night to go to sleep, right? So, I don't know. I want to do it live. Live keeps it exciting. So we'll see, Rohan. We'll see. Life is full of mystery and wonder. I don't know. Sometimes I just sit with these thoughts, and then the answer just kind of appears to me, So that's kind of what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the answer to reveal itself, I'll come up with something, Rohan. Sarat, let me come back to your question, okay? I want to get all the people that are still introducing themselves, okay? Hesh, I'm going to come back to your question, okay? Fatima says, I'm happy to be a part of this community. Well, thank you so much, Fatima, and we're happy to have you. That's another reason why I ask people to introduce themselves, because it adds to the fellowship of the community, and so it's also an easy way to participate, keep things inclusive. So yeah, glad to have you here, and I think we are building a pretty good community here. So thank you so much for coming. Joseph, our good friend Joseph says, good morning, Dennis and everyone. Joseph is one of our moderators on Discord and Twitch, so shout out to Joseph for helping out. Thank you so much. Manoj says, good morning, Dennis and all from Bangalore, India. Nice, welcome, Manoj. Good to see you again. Another consistent supporter. Thanks so much, Manoj. Manoj, really appreciate you. Mustafa, how are you? You're back. You're back, my friend. Mustafa is one of my very, very early stream supporters. So I know you took a little break there, but so glad to see you back. Remind me what city you're from. I know you're also from Morocco, but I can't remember the city. Was it Rabat? I think it might have been Rabat. But let me know, Mustafa. Good to see you again. I hope you're well. Yeah, you were one of my very, very early supporters, so really appreciate you. Anise, welcome back. Says, hello everyone. Hello Dennis. Glad to be here again. Welcome back, my friend. Okay, yeah, Mustafa says, I'm glad to be among the first followers. I do remember when you had 600 followers. Yeah, thank you so much, Mustafa. Yeah. You know what? And if you guys really want to see something impressive, you guys can go back in my archives on my channel, on my YouTube channel, Data Science with Dennis. You can go back to my live archives, and you can find videos where I would stream for 15 minutes because nobody would show up. Okay, I mean, it's kind of crazy to have supporters like Mustafa who were here when I had like 600 subscribers. But there was a time when I had like 40 subscribers and I tried streaming and I had 0 people attend. So yeah, I've been at this a little bit, and I'm so glad to see all of you here. Really happy with the growth of the channel, and I'm gonna just keep on going. I'm just trying to provide you guys with good content, and I'm also trying to bust the myths of those terrible experts who are taking advantage of you guys. So I'm here to de-influence data science also. Sarvesh, our good friend Sarvesh says hi, Dennis. Hey Sarvesh, good to see you again. Simon says hello. Hello. My name is Simon. I'm from Medellin, Colombia. Wow, I can't talk today. I'm from Medellin, Colombia. I'm currently studying Excel to get introduced into the data analyst world. All right, Simon, great. I'm glad to see you here. Excel is a great way to start. You can do a lot of stuff in Excel. The entire business world runs on Excel. So you're in the right spot. And if you want to, take that into the data science world, hang around, learn from others, join our Discord. You'll move along the learning curve there. Garvit, I'm going to come back to your question, okay? Damilaire says, hi Dennis, Sundays are perfect. Damilaire is our good friend from Wales, I believe. Sundays are perfect. I think Sundays are good too, My analytics show that Sundays is a pretty good day for most people. But then again, as I've grown, then my analytics show that like every time is a good time because I'm bound to have some watchers at some time, right? But yeah, I mean the turnouts we've been getting on Sundays have been pretty good. So I think I'm tempted to keep it there. But yeah, but I really have no idea what content I'm gonna do. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'm waiting for the answer to reveal itself. Something will happen. Mustafa says, I finished my internship. I did miss the book review though. Yeah. Congratulations on finishing the internship. That's wonderful. The book, Introduction to Statistical Learning, that class I think went really well. I'm really proud of the people that were able to attend. And we had some people that attended every class the entire time, which, I did the edits on the videos. It turned out to be about 20 hours of instruction is what it turned out to be to get through that book. That's a lot, guys. That is a lot of instruction. So I'm really proud of everybody who was able to attend. I'm really proud of myself for being able to teach that book. That's kind of an honor for me. But yeah, you'll get us in the next one. I might do more book studies. There's a couple other books out there that really influenced me. So who knows? Maybe I'll do some book studies around that. We'll see. We'll see. So Satyam says, hi from Delhi, India. Hi, Satyam. Welcome back. Good to see you. All right, let me go back. And again, if you're joining us late, please let us know your city, state, province. Or if you have thoughts on my opening note, feel free to do that also. But let me go back and get some of the questions that came up earlier. So Devashi, let us know where you're from before we get to your question, please, okay? So Sarah says, what's your view on the current quant model projects? What can we do to improve these projects and stand out? Which ones are you referring to? Most quant projects wouldn't be out there, right? So yeah, let me know what you're referring to there. Are you referring to like stuff that's on Kaggle? Because those types of things don't always model what quants actually do, right? So let me know what you mean by the current quant model projects. I don't think there's like an archive of them per se, right? At least not that I know of. I'm happy to be wrong on that. But let me know what you mean. Give me some more details in the chat there. Okay, so hello, my name is Hesham from Pakistan. Welcome, Hesham. I think it's your first time here. I just wanted to ask about 1 year and 2 year MS in business analytics in the USA. I did my bachelor's in public administration and have been working in supply chain. Okay. I don't know if you had a specific question, but getting a master's in business analytics is generally speaking a good idea, right? I mean, as long as you have an interest in the field, right? I don't know if it has to be in the USA, but yeah, I mean, if you want to go from a public administration undergrad to a business analytics grad, that makes sense to me. You know, I mean, you could end up doing a lot of things without probably working in public policy of some kind. I don't know if that's what your interests are. But yeah, that sounds like a reasonable plan. I mean, if there's a reason why you want to do it in the US, you know, let us know. Or maybe if you want to provide more details, something I'm not understanding about your question, let me know in the chat. But that sounds like a reasonable plan, sure. Let me see. I know I skipped other questions. Okay, Sir Garvit says, "Hi Dennis, I'm currently working as a research and analysis intern at a startup. Will this experience help me advance in my data science career, or should I consider looking for a data science intern? Currently working as a research and analysis intern at a startup. Will this experience help me advance my data science career? Why would you want to switch from your current internship? Is there something that's like why are you looking to switch? You know, so let's talk about this a little bit, guys. The purpose of your internship, or really any work experience during your school, isn't necessarily to get you ready for your job. It can be, but that's not the necessary need. You can still do a lot of the job preparation on your own, right? I often talk about why having your own projects, your own portfolio, your own things to talk about during the interview is critical for your career progression, for both your career progression and your job search, right? So the goal of your internship now, any internship that you have, is to get a good reference out of it. That's really the goal, period. Right? Your goal of the internship is to have someone that you can tell a hiring manager, hey, call this person at this company and they will tell you that I'm a reliable worker. That's it. That's all you want out of it. You want somebody who's going to speak well of you and say, yes, you know, Garvit showed up on time and he did his work. That's all you want out of the internship, right? And it doesn't matter what you did. It's about having a good reference. That's really your, like the meta goal, right? I mean, I'm presenting this to you guys because in everything you do, right, data science is so much of a meta game, right? You got to understand the bigger picture, right? And the bigger picture of an internship is, I just want a good reference out of this, period. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the job I'm doing. I just want somebody who's going to speak well of me to my next hiring manager. That's the meta game of internship. Okay? So if you're in a good spot right now, and you can still do projects on your own, right? There's nothing stopping you from being a data scientist on your own. And you know you're going to get a good reference from the internship that you're currently at, then why move, right? Like there shouldn't be a lot of motivation there to move. So, you know, keep that in mind. I mean, I'd have to know more about your current internship, right? But I hear from too many students that are looking for that, you know, they're too anxious to move. They're too anxious to say, oh, well, I already worked here for a couple of months. Maybe it's time to move. Or somebody on social media said I have the wrong internship. Don't worry about that. Worry about going in there and doing a good job, no matter what the internship is. I mean, that's really the goal, right? You know, when I was in college, my studies were in international business. I do not have a technical degree. My graduation plans were to do something in business, you know, whether it was going to be like international relations or consulting. I had some programming skills, so I was able to do that. So I was thinking of maybe doing that. But like my first like serious job, like my first serious like adult job was working in video games. Like I put myself through college working in the video game industry. And by the way, I have my names in the credits of a video game. If you guys can find it, you'll really impress me. But my first job was working for Disney Interactive. I was a beta tester. I was a beta testing monkey, you know, like with like the old CD-ROM drives and stuff like that. Like I remember like one of my jobs in my internship was driving to the airport to pick up the latest shipments of the beta CDs from the development lab. Because I was working in LA at the time and the development lab was in San Diego. So the cheapest way for them to get us the latest builds, like when we were up against the deadline, right? Because, you know, the video games had a deadline for Christmas releases and stuff like that. Like, you know, somebody would have to drive to the airport and like they would ship it via airplanes, via like the cargo. So one of my jobs as the intern was to go and drive to the airport and pick up like the latest beta CDs, right? Like, was that a technical job? No, it was like a runaround job, right? But that's okay. The point is that I could say, hey, this executive at Disney Interactive will tell you that I'm a good worker, so here, call them, right? That was the goal. And then my second job, you know, later on in college, I was tech support. I was tech support at a internet service provider. You know, I remember I would work from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. I think was my shift, and then also on the weekends. And I did that because it was close to my school and it was a night job. So that means I could still go to school during the day, right? Like it didn't matter that it was like not a technical job or not a consulting job. It mattered that it paid my bills and it was a night job, right? So I could still be a good student during the day and then work at night. So again, the point is to have somebody that is going to speak well of you, right? It's not necessarily about, well, I want to be in consulting, so I have to have a consulting internship, right? So keep that in mind, guys, right? It's a meta game with internships when you're this early in your career. All you want out of it is somebody who's going to speak well of you, okay? So if you're in a good spot, you know, don't be rushing around to move and leave. That's not obligatory, right? So keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, I have my name in the credits of a Disney Interactive video game. If you guys can find that and tell me what the game was, I'll be super impressed. I'll give you a free resume review if anybody finds that. Nobody has found that yet. I've mentioned that a couple times. Gamudisa, let us know where you're from, okay? Satyam says the next book can be the Book of Why. Ooh, great suggestion, Satyam. Great suggestion. So Satyam is referring to a book called The Book of Why. If you guys don't know that book, I'll put it in the Discord. And it's also on my Instagram. You can find it in my Instagram stories under the books I enjoy. So The Book of Why is written by Judea Pearl. And it's a book about causality. If you don't know causality and you're a data scientist, you should. Causality is a very, very provocative topic, extremely interesting. Or, you know, earlier we had somebody who's learning how to do data analysis in Excel. Studying causality is a very good complement to that, right? You know, studying causality and data analytics in general is a good idea. So if you guys don't know that, it's called The Book of Why, Judea Pearl. Judea Pearl is considered the leading authority on causality. Highly recommended, right? You can look it up on Amazon. Very good book. Satyam, I don't know how good of a book it's going to be for in terms of a Sunday study, because that's more of like a book discussion, right? And it wouldn't make for a good class unless everybody read the book read the chapter ahead of time, right? Like you'd have to say, okay, guys, for this week you have to read this book and then or this chapter, and then we'll study it on Sunday. And then if people didn't do it, it kind of makes for a lame discussion, right? So I don't know. It'd have to be like it has to be an instructional book, I think, right? So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. So Sarath asking about the quant models, something like option pricing models, trading engines. You know what? That's not really what quants do. There's going to be plenty of white papers on stuff like this, right? But that's not always what quants do. So I don't know, Sarath. I'd like to understand your motivations for looking at this, because as I've mentioned before, coming into a company as a quant is not a very easy route. I think it's very difficult to come in from the outside and become a quant at a company. Yeah, so like option pricing models and trading engines isn't a lot about what quants do. At least not the quants that I know and that I've worked with. They do a little bit of that, but it's a lot more complex than you think. And besides, option pricing models, I mean, yes, there's still some new ground to work there, but like there's like a million white papers on stock trading, right? Like there's no lack of white papers on that. So I don't know, Sarath. I'm not excited about this path. I'm not excited about it. Mute West says, hi, Mulenga here from Lusaka, Zambia. Nice, welcome. Lots of viewers on the African continent, so welcome, Mulenga. Nice to have you here. What the? Joseph says, is it Disney's Math Quest with Aladdin? How did you get that, Joseph? What the heck? Well, guys, you know, give a thumbs up in the chat for Joseph. Joseph got it correctly. Where did you get that? Well, I guess nowadays there's probably a database or something out there, right? Like there's probably like an IMDb for video games. All right, guys, you guys gotta give a thumbs up for Joseph in the chat. He did get it correctly. My name is in the credits of Math Quest with Aladdin from Disney Interactive many moons ago. I think that was like in 96, 95, 97, something in that time range. How the heck did you get that, Joseph? I mean, yeah, that was like in 95. So what is that? That's like 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. It was in 98? No, it was earlier than that. Well, maybe that's when it was published, but I worked on it in 96. Because these games back then used to take a long time to come to market, right? So maybe it was published in 98. But I worked on it in 96. And Joseph, maybe you can find this, but I think I'm credited as a database specialist or a lead tester. I'm credited as one of those. But yeah, congratulations to Joseph. Yeah, Joseph. Yeah, I see a couple of hand claps for Joseph, and he deserves that. Nope, I've mentioned that before. Nobody's gotten it. But yes, my name was in Disney's Math Quest with Aladdin. And that was like my big, like first, like, you know, big boy pants job in tech. I started in their beta testing lab, and then I used that to do other things in video games. I went on to work for the Video Game Trade Association. It was known as the IDSA back then. And then, and yeah, I mean, that's how I got through college. You know, I did video games to pay for myself through college, because my parents, you know, didn't have a lot of money. I don't come from money. So I had to pay for a lot of my stuff for college. My parents helped me out as they could, but I got a lot of scholarships. And then, you know, if I wanted pizza, if I wanted transportation, if I wanted all of that, you know, it was on me. I had to pay for that. So that's how I did it, right? And I don't work in video games now. I didn't work in video games after graduation. At least I don't think so. But you know, it was a good reference, right? It was a good reference to be able to say, hey, I did this, call this person. They will tell you that I'm a good worker, right? That's really what you want. But yeah, hold on guys. We got some spam in the chat. Come on, man. All right, all right, sorry about that, guys. Joseph says, all I see is tester. Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember. But I know that the reason I always bring this up, guys, is because, you know, when you're working in a beta testing lab, it's like a lot of people. So there was always a competition for who was going to get listed in the credits. And it was usually based on the hours that you did in the game or the role that you played. So I'm listed as one of only 2 or 3 testers in there. Well, Joseph, maybe you can tell me how many testers they listed. But you know, it was a team of 20 of us. But there was a competition to be the one that was actually going to be in the credits, and I was selected for that. So that was a huge honor because I'm still in college at this time, right? Like I graduated college in '99, so I'm still doing this as my college job. So to be in a Disney game, that was pretty cool. You know, it's one of my the highlights of my early career, right? But yeah, congratulations to Joseph for getting that. I didn't think anybody would get that. 19 testers. No way, Joseph. No way they listed 19. I'm going to need a source on this, Joseph. But you know, I guess it's possible that it's changed. Because I remember at one time I had a screenshot of it. I had somebody make me a screenshot of it. And it was only a couple of us that were listed. But thanks for that, Joseph. It's good to have that information. But yeah, guys, again, the point is to say, it doesn't have to be what you're working in. The point is to get some experience out of it and get a good reference out of it, right? And by experience, I mean the experience of being on a schedule, going into an office, doing the best you can, applying yourself the best you can, being a pleasant person, right? Nobody keeps around the unpleasant intern, right? So that's the metagame when it comes to internships. So don't rush to move just because some knucklehead on Twitter said you need to move, right? Focus on doing a good job. Okay, so Garvit says, I aspire to become a data scientist because the field fascinates me, but I also enjoy the work I'm doing and appreciate contributing to a meaningful initiative. Well, it sounds like you're getting, you know, a good result from that, Garvit, so why move, right? Why move? Just keep doing the best you can, and if you have a good relationship with your supervisors there or the people that are going to speak about you, then it sounds like you're in a good spot. Okay, so keep that in mind. Abdullah, our good friend Abdullah says, nice to see you back, my friend. Good day, Dennis. This is Abdullah. Immensely grateful for the priceless content you post daily. Doing my best, but it's not easy some days, guys. It's not easy. Just want to let you know I bought the Tariq Rashid book and it's been an amazing ride. Keep recommending books. All right, yeah. So Abdullah, thank you so much for that. Guys, if you check my links on all my social media, I do offer a link to my Amazon shop. Amazon recently approved me to have my own shop. It is an associate's link, so I do make a small commission from it, but the books are no increased cost to you. And that way you can see my entire reading list of all the books that have influenced me in the past. And Abdullah here is mentioning Build Your Own Neural Network by Tariq Rashid. And that book to me was super, super informative. It really helped move my knowledge forward, especially when it comes to machine learning, and neural networks. I think I think I said it wrong. It's called build your own neural network, not make your own build your own neural network. But now, fair warning, I did read that book after I had already had some studies under me, so maybe it's not like a total beginner's book. But if you have a little bit of study under you, feel free to seek out this book. As Abdullah says, it's a great book. Everybody I've recommended it to loves it. The author just does a really good job. And here's the reason why I like it, guys, okay? A lot of you guys ask me for a learning plan, a roadmap. I'm going to give you the simplest roadmap, okay? You guys want a roadmap for getting into deep learning? Here it is. The Tariq Rashid book walks you through a neural network in raw code, and then he kind of talks about the math along the way, right? But he does it all in raw Python code, okay? So here's the roadmap. Go get the Tariq Rashid book. If you want to support me, you'll buy it through my links. It helps me out. But get the Tariq Rashid book, go through the entire book, and do it just as he has it. Do all the exercises. Obviously you want to read all the text, because he explains it really well. He's an excellent author. Go through all of it and do all the coding exercises just as he has them. Okay? And then, step 2, start all over and do the entire book, but this time, do it with a modern neural networks framework. I recommend Keras, and you can use PyTorch, but I don't use PyTorch because my parents are still married and I don't come from a broken home and I wasn't born in the streets. And do it all over again, right? So do the entire book just as the author has it, and then do it all over again and learn how to do it with Keras. If you can do that, if you go through that roadmap and you don't understand neural networks at the end of that roadmap, then data science is not for you. Go try to play professional tennis for a living or something, because data science is not for you if you don't understand neural networks after following that roadmap. I guarantee you that will help increase your learning. And I'm glad to see Abdullah, because that way you guys can hear from somebody else besides me. But that's a great book, really will really help you in your learning. Okay? Joseph says 90. I can't believe that was 90. I think it was 96 that I worked on it, but maybe 98 is the publication date. But I'm positive I worked on it earlier than 98. But thanks for that, Joseph. You have to tell me the reference on that, because that's I suppose there is like an IMDb for video games, and that's probably where it is. But yeah, I was in a Disney Interactive game. That was many moons ago. That was longer before than some of you guys were born. Okay, so Sarat says, can you please give me a big picture about the finance domain? I can give you a little bit. So it kind of depends on what you mean by finance domain. And then I also have to be careful here, because I want to make sure that I'm not giving away any internal secrets for companies that I've worked at. But first of all, when it comes to like the finance domain and data science, forget about trading, right? I mean, trading is basically completely dominated by internal algorithms at every financial firm you can think of. Small banks, big banks, doesn't matter. It's basically all algorithmic trading right now, right? The traders that are there, they basically monitor the algorithms, or they work at the direction of the algorithms. But you can basically forget about anything related to trading. Where it gets a little bit more useful is around I don't think I'm violating any confidence here, but where it gets more useful is, think about like the makeup of a portfolio. There's a lot of unexplored space still in terms of what makes up somebody's portfolio. So it's more about portfolio mixes than it is about individual stocks or individual investments, right? So why is that? Well, you got to realize that there's a lot of institutions and even individuals out there with a lot of funds to invest, like a lot, like more than most of us can even imagine. And there's a lot of people who have a lot of funds, right? A lot more than most of us realize, right? And remember, I'm saying this because I worked in wealth management, right? So just to give you guys an idea of that, right? The minimum to become a wealth management, banks have different levels, right? You can be like a regular client, a gold client, a priority client, all those silly levels, right? I don't think there are any banks out there right now that will take you on as a wealth management client for anything less than, I don't know, maybe like 20 million. And that's not net worth. That's 20 million in investable assets, right? Like you have to apply, you have to show you have at least 20 million, like in some portfolio assets. Not that your house is worth 20 million, right? That you have 20 million in assets or 20 million in cash, right? And keep in mind, I said that's the minimum, right? So, I mean, there's people who have vastly, vastly more than that, right? Like, again, more than most of us can imagine. And there's a lot of them. Because think about it, that's the minimum, right? So, and by the way, 20 I think is a good number. There's some that are higher than that. I mean, some banks won't even talk to you until you have like 30 million, right? I'm not going to mention any names, but there's banks out there that at 30 million is the minimum level, right? Why is that? Well, because a hedge fund investment is expensive, right? I mean, if because at those levels, by the way, you're not talking options and stocks anymore. You're talking hedge funds, you're talking private equity, things along those lines. Well, a typical investment in a hedge fund or in a private equity fund, one share starts at like 500,000 US dollars, right? So can you have a properly diversified portfolio if you only have 20 million? Maybe not, right? So that's why those minimums are so high in wealth management. Because I mean, your private banker, your investment advisor isn't able to really properly diversify you when one single hedge fund share is $500,000. One single private equity share is $500,000, right? And then like at 15 million, you can't even participate in any of the private offerings, right? Because that's a whole other ballgame of finance, right? A company will approach like a Goldman Sachs and say, hey, we need to raise money and we want to do it from private investors. Can you put us up in front of your wealth management people or your wealth management clients? And like, that might be something where the minimum investment is they want somebody who, they don't want to talk to anybody unless they can make a minimum investment of $10 million. Like that'll be the requirement to invest in that private offering. And there's plenty of people, by the way, out there who can do that, right? Like again, there is vast amounts of money out there, right? So from a quant perspective or an algorithmic perspective, what does that proper portfolio mix look like? When you're talking about cash, existing investments in stocks, existing investments in my own company, right? Because most of those people tend to be entrepreneurs, so they tend to have their own stock from their own history of work. And then what does that look like if I want to do a private offering and 3 hedge fund investments this year? Like those are the types of questions that quants are asking nowadays, right? I mean, that's where it gets a lot more interesting. And again, and you're talking about big numbers there. Like, why should you be investing 20% in a hedge fund offering and 20% or excuse me, in hedge funds in general, and 20% represents like $200 million. And there's people out there with that kind of money, right? And then how do you do that, right? How do you choose that 200 million is going to go to hedge funds? Well, then how do you choose those hedge funds? So those are the types of things that are being examined at those levels, right? So going after your own options pricing model, that's not necessarily a quant path. It's good practice and it might be fun to do, but if you want to do what quants are doing, that's not the way I've seen it. For the most part, those algorithms have been solved, right? Like companies are already using their own algorithms for that. So think about that, okay, Sarath? Like what does it look like from like a product mix perspective, more than anything else? So that's it. That's all I want to say about that. Because again, I'm not trying to violate any of my client confidentiality, but just think about it in those general terms, okay? So let me see who else is next. Hey guys, by the way, if somebody wants to volunteer to be an Instagram moderator, let me know. Fahadi, go ahead and introduce yourself, please, okay? So Simon says, can I get a decent data analyst knowledge only with online self-paced courses? You can get a good start, sure. You can build a good foundation. I would encourage you to do a lot of work on your own, right? Make sure that you're taking what you learn and then apply it on your own, right? And really, this goes for everybody in the chat, guys. I want to keep on coming back to this because this is such a common theme. Remember, data science is not a theoretical science. It's an applied science. Okay, this isn't astrophysics. If we were studying astrophysics, I'd tell you, hey, let's just read all these books and we can't go into outer space, so we can't test anything. That's not data science, right? In data science, you should be actively taking what you learn and using it, right? So Simon, I think you can get there with courses, but apply it. Start applying it. Start saying, okay, I learned this. Let me go try it. I learned this. Let me see if this is true. Right? So you can get there, but don't let it be the only way you're going to learn. Okay? Vibob, let us know where you're from, okay? Michael, our good friend Michael. Hello, sir, Dennis, and everyone. Nice to see you, Michael. Michael, I think you're another one of my early supporters. So you were definitely there when it was like, less than 1,000 followers. So thank you so much, Michael. Good to see you back. Casual Economist, our good friend from Minneapolis says, "Can I call you Mr. 1K?" You know what? I'm gonna ride that 1K wave all the way to 100,000. You watch. So Casual Economist here is referring to the fact that I've been getting about 1,000 new viewers on YouTube every single day. It's been crazy. It's been crazy, guys. That means that my messages go up, my comments go up. So I'm trying to keep up with everybody. If you send me messages or comments, I do my best to keep up. I promise I'm trying. But yeah, it just keeps, the wheels keep turning, and I'm going to ride this into 100K. My goal here, guys, and I haven't said this very often, but my goal here, guys, is I'm going to get to 100K by the end of the year. I think I can do it. I know it's an aggressive goal. I know that I'm at 8,500 right now. But I think I'm going to get to 100K by the end of the year. That's my goal. So, so God willing, good health, good mind, good everything. And, continued great support from people like you. I'm going to get to 100K by the end of the year. Also, I'm looking for suggestions on what to do for 10K. I'm coming up on 10K. I'll most likely be there on Thursday. So give me suggestions for what to do. I'm thinking of doing a watch party, where we could watch it turn to 100K because YouTube gives you this real-time view where you can see it go to 10K. I was thinking of maybe doing a watch party, or maybe you guys want me to do one of those stupid pictures with the bronze balloons, 10K, like, you've seen those pictures, that the people do on Instagram, right? I mean, that's so cringy, right? But I'm open to suggestions. So let me know what you guys want me to do for the 10K. Hi Dennis, do you have an idea about the DS market in Morocco? I really don't, but I know that there's a lot of I know that there's a lot of data science happening in Morocco, right? The startup scene in Morocco is pretty strong, at least from what I've seen, right? So, hey, if not, make your own. There's like 20 Moroccans in my chat. You guys should start something, right? You guys should start like your own incubator or something, right? So I can't speak on it directly. Oh man. Hey guys, come on. Please don't spam the chat. Don't do that. Rezan, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to put you on a ban here for a bit here. Guys, please don't do that. It screws up the software on my end, because I use special software to bring in all the chats from all the different platforms, so it screws it up on my end. Please don't do that. But yeah, excuse me. So I think you guys in Morocco should get together and do something. I did have somebody reach out to me recently. They were from Morocco and they were working with a program that supports data science or technology in general in Africa. And they wanted me to do a seminar for them. And I sent them my information. I haven't heard back from them, but there's stuff happening in Morocco and in Africa in general. So keep your eyes open for that, Mustafa. Abdullah says, I am interested in your professional point on why do you prefer Keras over PyTorch? Because PyTorch is for the unfortunate kids who grew up in the streets without parents, orphaned, and somehow they got their hands on a computer and they learned PyTorch. That's who PyTorch was designed for. It's in the Geneva Convention. Look it up. Hi, Dennis. What's wrong with PyTorch? Mustafa, I just went over this. PyTorch is for kids that were abandoned by their parents and grew up in the streets sniffing glue, okay? And because it gets people riled up. I always get a lot of comments. Why do you hate PyTorch? How do you guys think I get to 1,000 viewers? You got to stir up the pot every once in a while, right? I cannot tell you how many comments I get on that. You hate PyTorch. I don't know why you hate PyTorch. So full disclosure, guys, I have contributed to Keras open source. I am a moderator on their mailing list, so I do want to. I just like Keras. It makes better sense to me. Like the code, the way Keras is designed, it makes better sense to me, so I use Keras. You want to use PyTorch because your parents were divorced and don't love you? Go ahead and do that. My parents love me. I use Keras. Okay. All right. Servan says, hi Dennis, I have a lot of respect for everything you're doing with the community. How do you manage to balance it all, being active in social media, playing golf, and managing family life? Servan, thank you so much for the question. I don't know. It's not easy. It's not easy. I'll tell you that. The live streams take a lot out of me, to be frankly honest with you. Like, it takes a lot of energy to do these things, guys. But really, I just try to balance my time with everything else. I keep on telling you guys about Mastery by Robert Greene, following your passions, and I'm doing that. So the passion, the passion is a good driver for that, right? But another thing that comes with that is the realization that I only want to do the things in life that make me happy, right? So that's really what I'm doing. Like, if I don't like a client, or if I don't like something that's going on in my life or something else, then I just don't do it. Like, I do the things that make me happy. Golf makes me happy, so I play golf when I can. And taking my dog to the park makes me happy, so I do that. I only do things that make me happy, period, right? Like, so I find a lot of fulfillment in that, right? I also work with the weight loss coach, and I share stuff with him, and he gives me feedback, and there's some goals coming up around that I have, that are going to take me into 2025, into the new year. So that helps. And really, I'm somebody who really believes also, and I'm not trying to give you guys life advice here, right? But just one of the things that I do for myself is I believe that there is a lot of mental health and mental clarity in making sure that you always do the right thing even when no one else is looking. So for me, I think I tend to live like a happier life and a balanced life because I know that I have a clean conscience, right? Like, I don't owe anybody money. All my taxes and all that stuff is paid up. I don't carry credit card debt. My cars are paid off. Nobody can ever say that I stabbed them in the back or that I slept with their wife or things, right? Like, I try to just maintain a clean conscience, right? And I think that leads to a more balanced life, right? Because even like if you do something in life that you got away with, you still know, right? Like, the inside of you still knows. Like, that's the stuff that keeps you up at night, right? So I try to live a clean conscience because I think that just kind of helps overall, like your overall life, right? Like, there's nobody out there who can say, "Oh, Dennis screwed me over in a business deal," or Dennis owes $20,000 in credit card debt or whatever, right? Like, I don't like that. Like, that weighs on my conscience, right? Like I'll still know if I did that, right? So that helps. Right? Have a clean conscience and only do things that make you happy. So that's what I try. I've been successful so far. I'm a pretty old man so far. I don't think I look like an old man, but that's just the way it is. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. That was a great question to finish off on. Thanks so much for that, Saran. Again, if you want to volunteer to be one of my moderators on Instagram, let me know. I need to set that up because I hate the spam that we're getting. Really gets me mad when I see people spamming my chat, guys. Really gets me mad. So if you want to volunteer, let me know via the Discord. But otherwise, hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. There's a lot of crazy things happening in the world, so please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you next time.